Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We're trying out my boy Strength Super Vegeta after EZAing against Red Zone Fusion Zamasu. Going with a bit of a different team build this time. Of course, we're not going to run a full Vegeta's family team in here, at least not without the new one, which I don't have. It irks me because that's a Jeets unit, but it's not meant to be. So we're going to start with a Whis. Every unit attacking in this, oh no they're not, I always forget. These two are not a Great Ape, they're not a giant, what is it, Great Ape power unit. They're not, I always forget every single time, they're not a giant ape power unit. I just see Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and just automatically think, yeah, that's a Great Ape power unit, a giant ape power unit. And every single time I make the same mistake, they do not go on Great Ape power. Silly me, but we move. We'll carry on. That does mean that Limit Breaker Vegeta doesn't have his full damage reduction, but we do have a Whis active, so it is fine. We should be okay. But back to EZA Strength Super Vegeta. As I was saying when I was testing him out, he looks like he was literally made for Red Zone Fusion Zamasu. Like, he was made for this being like the hardest enemy on global anyway, which is why I do believe, at least in my opinion, that they held back a little bit. I do think he could have been better. And that's not even in a nitpicky way. That's not even in a, oh, it's a Vegeta unit, I need him to be better, he needs to be like the best. No, I generally think he could have been better based on what JP has right now. But then he would have been too good for global. And he would have been good for months. And they probably don't really want that, especially with the sync coming up. So I do think he was like perfectly made for Fusion Zamasu. You know, 5 turns of guard from his entry turn is good, considering how short Fusion Zamasu's event is. He's doing a ton of damage, even before he gets his full 100%, you know, attack and defense boost. I mean, it only takes 2 super attacks. But even before he gets that, he's still doing good damage because that guaranteed crit no matter what. No, because we have an item active and he has guard right now, I'm actually going to let him go in slot 1 just to see how he does. Just to see how he tanks. Again, we have a Whis active, which is what, like 40% damage reduction. We have guard active right now. He just doesn't have all of his extra defense. Still took 30k. This is what I mean, 11 million attack stat with a guaranteed crit. It's big damage. It gets you out of this phase where the AoEs are as quick as possible. No additional, which is a shame. Of course, we're taking double digits on the AoE. I'll take a dodge from you. Okay, cool. So we actually have all the extra defense he could possibly have apart from the second super attack of 50% attack and defense. And he takes double digits. Good. I mean, there is an item active, but naturally on Fusion Zamasu's first phase with the AoEs, because they still, even with the 9th anniversary content right now, they can still catch a lot of units because they need to build up. They need to, you know, start doing what they need to do. A lot of the time, you're going to be hopping a Whis here anyway. So I'll take that. That's a good first turn from Super Vegeta. As I said, with the way his kit is, and again, that 5 turns of guard, you know, kind of helping him out with the AoEs. I said, it's like he was almost perfectly constructed for Fusion Zamasu. And then, you know, once his guard is going to be gone, or just as it's going to be gone in the second phase, he has type advantage. You don't have to worry about AoEs anymore. He's doing guaranteed crits. He's doing 11+ million attack stats. He's doing a ton of damage. So it does really feel like he was made specifically for this. Now, how do I want to do this? Because of the mistake I made, he's not always going to have his full damage reduction. I mean, he has it now. I kind of don't want to use an item just because I don't feel like we need to use it. So I think I'm going to do this just because Goku and Vegeta have their 1 turn of guard. So why not make the most of it? And then we're going to get the double guaranteed. The only thing I need is Fusion Zamasu to not super them. So fingers crossed. But then they do have 2 dupes, so we could see a triple. Or Fusion Zamasu could just generally die this turn. If they do enough damage. If we get the second additional and some crits, I reckon Fusion Zamasu dies here. Okay, never mind. We got exactly what I was talking about, and the HP bar isn't going down that quickly. So yeah, no, he's not going to die here. But I mean, he will literally die off Vegeta super. Cool, they're fine. He's fine because everyone in the same turn is a giant ape category unit. And of course, you're fine. No super. I mean, they do have guard and type advantage. They did super 3 times. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's not often that you actually get away with not using an item here. Or at least both of them. So I'll take that. I mean, this has actually started off really well. And Vegeta still has his guard. Remember, it's 5 turns from his entry turn. So he still has his guard right now. So I'm going to let him stay in slot 1. 329k defense with guard and type advantage. I know Zamasu's numbers are very high compared to his defense. Like a lot higher. Like 750k on a normal. Near to 2 mil on a super. But we do have Bird Crew's revival if need be. He has type advantage, 1 more super attack, and he gets the extra attack and defense plus 50% up to 100. But while he has his guard, why not make the most of it? Again, the initial attack was going to do some damage because we don't have any of his extra defense just yet, or his extra attack and defense just yet. So 90k pre-super to me isn't actually that bad, but look at the damage. And of course, after that, he's fine. This is what I'm saying. He still has a very similar problem to when he initially released. Of yes, he has guard now, which is great. But because he needs to, that's fine. Because he needs to be hit to get the extra 50% attack and defense after receiving an attack, he needs to be hit first before he gets it. Kind of like Bardock, the Fizz SSJ Bardock. He needs to be hit to trigger his guard. So he needs to be hit first, take a bit of damage, then his guard activates, then he's good. That's kind of the same thing with Super Vegeta with his extra attack and defense. The only thing is, he gets the majority of his attack and defense once he supers. That's the 30% on super attack. That's the 100% when performing super attack in his passive. That's also the one after receiving an attack. He needs to attack before he gets the majority of his attack and defense. Which is why, I'm not going to lie, 90k while having type advantage and guard seems a bit meh. That's because he doesn't have the initial 50% until he actually takes that attack. So, I mean, all in all, for a unit or an enemy that does 750k on a normal, it's not too bad. But as I already mentioned, it's one of those things of, he's still very good defensively. Like, if you slid him into slot 2, if I put him into slot 2 there, it would be 10 times better, because then he would get all of his extra attack and defense before being hit, and then have some extra defense, some extra padding before he takes that initial attack to get the 50% attack and defense from receiving an attack while having guard. So he'll actually tank incredibly well, especially while having type advantage right now. But if you were gonna try and get that 50% attack and defense for receiving an attack just to like help him do some extra damage, that initial attack before he has it can hurt him a little bit, even with the guard. So I said that initial problem is still there. That kind of initial kind of catch-22 is still there. Like, just because he has guard is good. It helps him with that. However, content has evolved so much and does so much damage now that it's only going to do so much. Again, luckily for him, as I said, it looks like Dokkan kind of made him perfectly for Fusion Zamasu, so it's actually not that much of a problem taking 90k on a normal. Because after that, he's fine, he's chilling. This is why a lot of the time you're probably going to want him in slot 2 instead. I mean, if you do have the new Vegeta as well, you're probably going to put him in slot 2 anyway, whereas I don't have him. Which again is such a massive shame. I really want him because that's a cheats. And he looks great, and he is generally amazing. But I just kind of wanted to see how he would do in slot 1. So we do have his active skill, which, I mean, let's pop this first. Get you out. So let's pop this. He is Super Vegeta. So he now gets Ki +5 and extra attack plus 50%. We do actually have a Whis active as well. And I think this is his final turn, if I'm not mistaken, of guard. So I'm actually going to make the most of it and let him sit in slot 1 with the Whis active, with his guard, to get the extra 50% attack and defense with his active skill. 23 mil with time advantage and a guaranteed crit. Zamasu, hold the damage. If the side of your face ain't melting yet, it's melting now. This actually probably won't do too much. He's got all of his extra attack and defense with an item and guard. Yeah, 36k. As I said, it's like he was made for Red Zone Fusion Zamasu. It's like he was made knowing full well this is like the most difficult enemy on global right now. I can't lie, he's putting in a shift. He's putting in a shift. I said that guaranteed crit helps you get through the first phase so quickly, along with, of course, the other units doing big damage as well. The guard's going to help him against the AoEs. You know, the AoE also helps him get his attack and defense before the turn pretty much plays out, no matter where he is. That's another thing that helps, is, at least, again, in the first phase anyway, Zamasu's AoEs hitting, of course, every single unit in the turn helps out Jeets, because it will hit him no matter where it is, which means he'll get 50% attack and defense no matter where he is in the rotation. No, why not? Why not pop this? Why not? Yeah, why not? That was so simple. It was so easy. But that's another thing that plays into his strength. As I said, because Zamasu has an AoE and it hits everyone in the rotation, he doesn't actually need to be in slot 1 to receive an attack, to get the 50% attack and defense for receiving an attack, to help him do more damage in the rotation. So you could have him set up in slot 2, he'll be perfect there. He gets hit by an AoE, you could have an item active, you could not, entirely up to you. And he will still get hit, which means he still gets the 50% attack and defense before he supers, which means he maximizes his damage. But, I mean, he just cleared house. He just absolutely cleared house against Fusion Zamasu, and this is what I mean of, I really do feel like they held back overall because of where JP is compared to where Global is before the sync, before the 9th anniversary as well. And it does feel like he was very much made to be perfect for Red Zone Fusion Zamasu, which he absolutely is. I mean, regardless, Super Vegeta is definitely showing his worth, but you can always let me know your comments or your thoughts down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and peace.